It's that time of year again. You're on the clock. You have to make a decision, but you don't know what to do. Your palms are sweaty, okay, I'm not going to do the Eminem rap, but you get my point. It's rookie draft season. What do you do? Welcome back into the Dynasty Nerds YouTube page. I am Garret Price. You can find me on Twitter at Dynasty Price. And we're going to be talking about rookie draft strategy. Now, this is one of the big things that differ from regular fantasy football to dynasty fantasy football. And is one of the best parts about dynasty fantasy football is we draft only rookies every year. We don't draft a brand new team every year, only rookie. So you got to get your rookie drafts right. And for this year specifically, I have 3 tips that I've found in my draft so far that I think have really helped lead to success. Here they are. Number 1, there are a huge tier of receivers in the first round. So 1-1 off the board. I don't care if this is super flex. I don't care if this is 1 QB, whatever. Breece Hall's the 101. He should be the 101 in your league. If not, trade up to try to get him at 102. But after that, you have often Kenneth Walker going at 2, maybe 3. And then there's this huge range of receivers. Garrett Wilson, Treylon Burks, Jamison Williams, Drake London, Sky Moore, Jahan Dotson, Christian Watson. And even though there's some of those guys I like a little bit less, I'm finding myself, Chris Olave. I didn't even say Chris Olave. I'm sure there's probably someone else I missed. But I'm finding myself often, specifically in super flex leagues, because Kenny Pickett typically goes in there somewhere too, at 7 or at 107, 108, even 109, coming away with a really good player. I've gotten Sky Moore at 108 and 109 so far, and I'm thrilled to be able to get him there. Chris Olave falls there. Cool. I'm excited. If Treylon Burks falls there, even though I'm lower on him than most people, yeah, I'm good with that. And honestly, even at 110, 111, I mentioned Christian Watson's there, Jahan Dotson's there. Both are good players, I think, in good situations. I know the Commander situation doesn't seem great, but there's a chance that Terry McLaurin's gone next year. This is the last year of his deal. He could easily become the one after this season. So I like that whole tier, which sounds funny, but basically most of the entire first round, but really that 08, 09 spot in super flex drafts, that's a sweet spot. So if you're there sitting at 103, as much as I like some of those players there, trade back to 107, trade back to 108, trade back to 109, and get extra draft capital or get an extra player that you like in return, because the difference there is not that big. Second tip, the next tier's about the same. So in the second round, right after you get like that kind of mini tier there of Jahan Dotson and a couple of those guys, the next tier is very similar. I've been seeing guys like Zamir White that I really like, even guys that I don't love, but I think are in good situations like Tyler Algier, Alec Pierce, going all the way into the third round. So once again, you can still get a similar quality of player at 202, 203 that you're going to be able to get at 212, 301. Very similar. So once again, I have no problem trading back. As much as I love Zamir White, and that's a guy I'm targeting, I'm fine with getting Damian Pierce. I like Isaiah Spiller in this draft. That's the weird part about this draft is usually there's tiers of like 3 or 4 guys that I really want to get in. Here it's so much more fluid. There's so much more just openness to these drafts where if you get in the first tier, cool. It doesn't really matter where in that tier. Same thing with that second round. There's still a lot of good players to be had at the second round that aren't that much different than the beginning of the second round. So once again, trade back, pick up extra draft capital. You're gonna be happy that you did. Last but not least, don't be afraid to trade for 23 firsts. This is the cheapest that you are going to be able to get 23 first. They're only going to continue to get more expensive. That class specifically at the running back position is very much so the real deal. People are going to be clamoring for those. They already are clamoring for those picks, but it is even going to be even crazier a few months down the road. and especially once we get into the actual season and then into the offseason next year. So if you're in a spot where there's some players you're in a tier that you don't love, all right, trade for your second for a second next year. Trade your first for a first next year. Trade back, try to pick up some extra draft capital in the 23 class, because I'm telling you guys, it is a very good class. If you haven't been paying attention, I know a lot of you have, but if you haven't, 23 very much so is the real deal, specifically at the running back position where it matters most. But there's some top end guys at all the positions that I'm very excited about. So don't be afraid to trade back. Last but not least, it's not another point. I said it was only going to be 3, but it's Prize Picks. Prize Picks. We are partnering with Prize Picks. We are very excited to do so. And you know what? Why don't you go on there, use promo code NERDS. You know what happens when you do? You get a deposit match up to $100. You put in 50, they put in 50. You put in 100, they give you $100. Go on there, make your different bets, do your over-unders, whatever you need to do. That's the place, the best spot for those legal betting props. Go there, prizepicks.com. Do it today.